as we all intertwine. Let's jump together. 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 Let's jump.
Thank you for downloading Escape Velocity. This series is brought to you by my fantastic supporters at patreon.com/Radio Theatre Workshop. But financial support isn't the only way you can help this series. Please leave a review on iTunes, Stitcher, Pod Directory, or wherever you found and heard this episode. Reviews and ratings are so important to really help the show get discovered by even more listeners. Thank you.
Amid the stars in the sky, humanity expands and thrives as it pushes back the boundaries of the universe. From the luxury of the core systems to the harsh worlds of the frontier, men still fight. Some fight for survival or greed. Some fight for a flag and others for retribution. But across the lonely darkness, they all share one aim: to be elite.
Escape Velocity, an Elite Dangerous audio adventure serial written and produced by Christopher Jarvis. Episode 4, Repossession of Property.
You think there's someone here then?
I do. I just hope it isn't someone who wants to kill us.
I thought you said he was a trader.
He was. A lot can happen to a man out here. His place may have even been taken over by bandits. Maybe I shouldn't have brought you here.
There's a door at the back. I'll look.
Come back. May, be careful.
What the hell is that?
May, look out!
What do you want with me?
Are you Kurlik?
Who wants to know?
I brought some robots for you to look at. I heard they're pretty special.
Thane?
I heard maybe that you were someone that was interested in technology.
Where are they?
In the back of the buggy. You want to look? Okay, I'll do it.
Slowly, or I shoot.
No problem here, buddy.
Careful, Thane.
You see?
Well, now, those are nice.
I was hoping you could put me together a couple of clones.
Payment?
I'll admit that cash is a little short due to trading difficulties, but I'm thinking that the blueprints you'll create for these robots will pay off in the long term for you. They're supposed to be a brand new design.
You a pilot?
Yeah,
You a good pilot?
I'm still in one piece.
I can always use a good pilot. Maybe as well as the robot design, you'll owe me a favor, yes?
Thane?
I can do that.
It's a deal. Why don't you both take yourselves a seat through there, and I'll come through in a bit and make you a brew. Oh, sit yourselves down while I take off some of this battle gear. I won't be a minute.
So, that's Kerlik. Just be cool, and maybe we can sort this mess with the robots out.
Oh, that's better. Excuse the theatrics. I've had one or two problems in the past, if you know what I mean. I hate putting all that stuff on. If you two didn't look so innocent, I'd have just let the automatics deal with you.
Automatics?
Yes, that entry bay has automatic defenses. It's bristling with tripwires and booby-trapped guns.
We didn't see any.
It's good, isn't it?
I thought you were going to take off all your combat gear.
What? The leg and the arm? I'm afraid I have to keep those on, sweetheart, or I can't walk around or pick things up. You look confused. Don't be. I'm afraid my hometown was subject to a very nasty virus when I was born. Milliken syndrome is simple enough to treat if you have the right vaccines, but it's amazing what you can catch if you don't live in a place with the right healthcare coverage.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What? It was you? I'm teasing you, sweetheart. Don't be sorry. Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. All those mechanical limbs and surgical procedures fairly bankrupted our whole little town. If I hadn't learned how to build replacement parts myself, they'd have all starved. And now I make a living out of my skill-making machines. So who's really sorry when it's all said and done, eh?
Right.
So, what is it you'll be needing then, eh?
We've been asked to ship these prototypes to a client here in Semius. There were 4 originally. Unfortunately, we were attacked and 2 of the prototypes were destroyed. We need you to copy the 2 we have, perfectly, down to the last detail. Can you do it?
Can I do it? You're asking me if I can do it? Of course I can do it. But remember the price we agreed, eh? You owe me. And I'd take very badly against people who forget their debts. I'd hate to have to send the boys round. They're very, very well-armed boys.
Hey, if I make a deal, I see it through.
All right then. I'd better take a look at these robots of yours.
Well, he's unique.
As long as he can get the job done.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Why doesn't he just have new limbs grown? Or better robotics? I've seen people with limb replacements much better than those.
You really understand very little outside of your imperial bubble, don't you?
What do you mean by that?
Kerlik grew up on the frontier like me. Out there, it's easy to see the difference between those who have money and those who don't. It's right in front of you. But you know what? I see it here in your precious empire too.
That's just the way things are.
That's an easy answer if you're rich. Tell me something. Do you have slaves?
My family had 1 or 2 workers, yes.
See, that's the thing I can't square with the way folks are here. You tell a man he has no worth unless he can pay his way. Then you take away his freedom to earn a living. Doesn't seem like any kind of system to me.
Well, if the Empire is so bad, why do people like Kerlik rush to live here?
Kerlik was probably driven out of his home by the corporations. They don't take kindly to bootleggers reproducing their designs. He had to run for his life. Why do you think he lives on his own in the middle of a dust bowl?
So you're saying I'm bad because I'm from the Empire?
Look, don't take it personally, kid. Like I say, life is the same on the frontier. It's just covered in more dirt.
Knock, knock. I've had a look. They're very shiny gizmos, aren't they? I can reproduce them for you in about 2 weeks.
But
Yes, you've got an impatient client waiting to kill you. I've got a holofax transmitter you can use to send them a message. Say that you were attacked and had to run for it, and are taking a more circuitous route. I can fake the source address for you. They'll think you're in a different system.
thank you.
Funny thing about those robots.
Yes.
They aren't robots at all. I tried to scan them, I couldn't. Complete sensor blackout inside. So I opened one up, and there's space inside for a person. Full life support and everything. You could sit in one of these in a ship with no life support and you'd be fine. And Even if one of those massively steam wrestlers was inside, but a medical scanner would show nothing at all. Very neat tech. I can't imagine what they'd want them for.
That is odd.
We've had to randomly jump out to get away. It's added a bit of flight time for us. We should hit Semius in 2 weeks. I'm hoping you'll be understanding about the delay. I'm fighting hard to keep this shipment safe for you. I'll make the delivery, I swear. Lane out.
Come here.
Huh?
Get me a robe. I'm going to see Daddy. Daddy? Daddy? Daddy! There you are.
What is it, Precious?
Daddy, we've got a problem.
Sounds to me like you got a problem. What is it?
You know those new robot suits I was sending to our Imperial friends for their consideration?
Yeah?
I hired a pretty anonymous-looking pilot to take them so no one would notice. He seemed harmless enough and very eager to please.
I can imagine. You make a father proud.
And now he's overdue, and he's sending me messages with a faked source address. It's good work, I'll give him that, but it's still a fake.
And you come to me for advice?
What? No, I came to you because I want to borrow the constrictor.
What? Out of the question, no way. Take one of the sidewinders, you'll do less damage that way.
You'd send me out on my own? To wriggle around those perverted Imperials? If I took the constrictor, I could take the boys and have a couple of strong pilots to look after me.
I'm more worried about what you'll do to the crew. But have it your own way.
Thank you, Daddy.
And that pilot. Try not to get his blood on the flight deck. I just had it customized.
Oh, I am gonna get his blood everywhere.
You're both in luck, by the way. I've got a couple of spare rooms you can hide out in if you need to lay low while I sort out your clones.
What's that?
Sounds like a ship.
Is it outside? Is it landing?
Thane,
May, what's the matter?
I feel strange.
May, this isn't the time. I think we've got company.
That ancient sound is the resonant frequency of the Ask Explorer class ship. Additional sounds indicate shield generators fore and aft.
You can hear that.
The landing ramp is extending. There are 6 sets of footsteps. Every set humans in pressure suits.
What do you think?
Sounds like federal security to me.
Federal security ground troops. Primary breaching protocol. Destinate main entrance.
Will your security systems keep them out?
We can check on the monitors.
Secondary breaching protocol. Disable security focused EMP.
They won't disable my security.
Security system offline.
Great. What do we do?
Final breaching protocol. Secure targets. What? Where am I? Thane!
Get down!
Security!
Everybody get down, now! Get on the floor! Get on the floor! Now! Come on, move! Get on the ground! You are under arrest!
We haven't done anything!
You are all under arrest on charges of stealing federal technology, smuggling and espionage.
But this is an Imperial system!
Under Article 5 of the Semius Treaty, we have jurisdiction on cases of border smuggling. You will submit to arrest. We have authority to open fire.
Sorry about this.
Hey! What are you doing? Let go!
You, put down the weapon. Put it down.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Release the hostage, now!
Ow! You're sticking the barrel right in my neck.
It's not the barrel you want to worry about, it's the bullets.
Alright, enough. Take them.
Sorry.
No!
Dallas, report in.
Hyperspace clear. Everything nominal.
Anything on your scanner?
Nothing that matches the mass of Commander Thane's ship.
Okay. Find us a parking spot and we'll wait.
He might already be in the system. Give me a sec. I've got access codes for the traffic mainframe.
Anything?
Got it. Merlin attack fighter, registration EV223, already docked at Anderton's camp. Been there since this morning.
Alright, we'd better go in.
New radar contact.
Incoming.
Hold, citizen. This is Federal Border Patrol Omicron 9er. You will surrender and allow your craft to be scanned. Your craft does not have legal registration markings.
Just what we need. Feds.
What should we do?
I'll try bluffing them out. I don't have time for this. Federal pilot, you're in Imperial space. You have no jurisdiction here. Withdraw.
Incorrect, citizen. We patrol the border under Semius Treaty. You will submit to my authority.
Okay. This is Agent 23, Special Dispensation under Corporate Directive Designation Echidna. My colleague and I are here on official business.
Checking. Please wait. You are cleared, Agent. Please go carefully and respect Imperial dominion in this sector.
You can talk.
Well handled, Agent.
Come on, let's go get our prototype back.
Bane, you can wake up now.
What? What happened?
The feds used stun grenades on us. You're in a jail.
What? But you shot me.
Sorry about that. I had to act fast. It wasn't a firearm, it was a subdermal implant gun. Stupid soldiers didn't know what it was.
Subdermal implant? What did you do to me?
I implanted a radio in your neck.
Why?
So I can talk to you, of course. Look around. Is there anyone else in your cell?
What? Where are you?
I'm in another cell nearby. Remember, you can hear me, but no one else can. They can hear what you're saying, though, so keep it dark, eh?
How are you calling me?
Let's just say it's a good job I build my own body parts. I've got all kinds of goodies stashed about my person. Even these jackboots wouldn't take a poor cripple's leg now, would they?
You are something.
Right, I need your help to get us out of here.
Are you serious? If we escape, we're federal fugitives. Then I can kiss my hopes of an honest life goodbye.
Come on, I thought we had a deal.
We had a deal for your bootlegging services, which I haven't used. I don't owe you anything.
Oh, lovely. Not even shedding a tear that you got me arrested.
How did I get you arrested?
Those robots were probably riddled with tracking devices. The whole thing was a setup. You know what they want me for? Breaching technology patents. That's something for which the Imperials and Federals will happily put aside their differences and screw me together.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is in space. Every man is responsible for his own crimes.
We'll see. You've got a visitor.
What?
Knock, knock.
Who are you?
Hello, Commander Thane. We've been waiting a long time to meet you.
Oh my god. That's the first time I ever climaxed during hyperspace. What a rush.
That was good for you, ma'am.
That was very good. Wow, pilot, you can handle more than just ships.
I'm glad you...
Shut up now. Truth is, I hate the way people think I'll treat them better after we've done it. I was gonna have you fired once we arrived anyway.
What? But...
Hush now, it's okay. You have talents. I might just keep you around for the return trip. Now get out. I've got a man to kill and I need some alone time. I said get out!
Very well,
ma'am. Now I'm really in the mood to kill. Dixon! Show me the traffic reports for the system. As I thought, Thane's ship is docked already. Dixon, have the pilot take us to Donaldson and wait in orbit. I'm coming up to the flight deck to take the weapon controls. As soon as his ship leaves the pad, I'm gonna kill him myself.
Dallas, kill the cameras.
What do you want?
I'm Agent 39 and this is Agent 23. You're in serious trouble, Thane. We can put you away for a very long time.
You're up to your neck in it now, boy.
For what?
Smuggling stolen Federation technology? Espionage? Maybe even subversion?
That's bull.
You reckon?
Look, check the records on my ship. All I did was agree to ship 2 containers of robots from Delta Pavonis to Semius. I booked all the cargo through customs. As far as I'm concerned, the job is legit.
And these were the robots given to you by Alpha 23, the woman you know as Camilla.
She's Alpha 23. You're Agent 23. What is it with you and 23? Do I get a number?
That isn't important. What is important is that we can use the records on your ship however we choose. You're guilty if we say you are.
You see what I'm saying, Thane? You can't win with these people. They'll have you no matter what.
Fine. What do you want?
We want our stolen prototype back.
Then take them. I've had to go through more with this witching shipment than I signed up for anyway. Take the robots. Arrest Camilla or 23 or whatever. Just get her off my back and let me get out of here.
What on earth makes you think it's the robots we want you to give back?
What? You want May? That's who you're really after, isn't it? Why?
Commander Thane, I think we misunderstand one another. Let's try again. My name is Lorand, and in the spirit of goodwill, you do have a number. To us, you are 45.
Time for the good cop back now, is it?
So?
I know you just want to get out of here and get back to being a legitimate and law-abiding space jockey, and maybe hoping, one day, to earn that elite ranking. We can make that happen. You just need to give us the girl.
So why don't you just take her? I get it. You didn't turn off the camera to intimidate me. You turned it off so the other feds wouldn't know what you were really here for.
I've been very patient, Thane, and I have little time. We can get you out of here in minutes. All we ask is that before you leave in your ship, you hand us the girl, for your safety and hers. We are not people you want to cross, 45.
I get told that a lot.
Well?
You can't trust them, Thane. I'm your only shot at getting us off this planet alive.
It's a deal.
Excellent decision, Commander. Dallas, switch on the cameras. Be seeing you.
Kerlek,
What do you want?
how quickly can you get us out of here? In that episode of Escape Velocity, Amy Timms played May, Christopher Jarvis, Thane, Liam Macaulay, Dallas, Rebecca Keeves, Lorand, Alan Wales played Kerlek, Katie Howes, Pilot, Janet Westwood Wilson, Camilla, and Mike Quinn was Camilla's father, with Verity Croft as the voice of the computer. Escape Velocity was written and produced by Christopher Jarvis, with additional music by Alan Stroud, and is a Radio Theatre Workshop production. For more information, please visit escapevelocity.laveradio.com. This work contains non-law fiction set in the Elite Dangerous galaxy. Elite Dangerous is copyright Frontier Developments plc.
Hi, Commander Kumar the Far here, and you're listening to Lave Radio. Up next is a track that I wrote based on a true story. It's called Pirates Took My Spaceship. Now, if you want to listen to more stuff that I've written, you can find that at soundcloud.com/KUMARTHEFFAR-1. Oh crap, they're back!
Galnet News Special, 19th of November 3307. Following the official announcement on Friday the 18th of the discovery of the Hesperus's missing crew, Galnet News Digest is now free to publish our own account of what was discovered at this remote and so far unique location.
An abandoned anaconda and a tale of tragedy found by those searching for the missing science crew of the megaship Hesperus may bring renewed hope for additional anti-Xeno weaponry. The search, instigated by the shadowy figure Salvation, identified a trail of 17 beacons stretching from Li Chul to a location close to the wrecked megaship Hesperus in Perseus Dark Region KC-V C2-2 and skirting the numerous permit locks that some believed to be placed there to prevent the discovery of the more disturbing forms of alien life. The Hesperus dropped these beacons back in the year 3113 as it set out on the trail of intelligent alien life following the initial discovery of Thargoid barnacle sites by its sister ship, the Adamastor, 2 years earlier. The Hesperus, owned and operated by Azimuth Biochemicals, was raided by a rival research company, Pharma Sapien. When the wreck site was discovered in April this year, it initially appears that there were no survivors of this attack after toxic gas was found throughout the megaship. However, following the deciphering of messages retrieved by the Scrivener Dredger clan, it became clear that a small party of scientists had escaped, intent on continuing the search for the aliens and their technology. And on the 11th of June 3307, following a massive effort to scan all systems within a 300 light-year radius by pilots from Cannon Research and others, the science party from the Hesperus has been located in the Trapezium sector YU-X C1-2 star system. What was of immediate surprise to the discoverers was that the Anaconda that had been launched from the Hesperus was surrounded by both Thargoid wreckage and Guardian ruins. The first time physical evidence of the million-year-old war between the two alien species, described in ancient texts recovered from previously discovered Guardian sites, has ever been found. The Anaconda, named Proteus, has a temporary camp and communications tower beside it. This appears to be where the scientists conducted their research. In 2 logs, both dated September 3113, Lieutenant Hugo Kellerman of the Hesperus describes their findings. He doesn't have names for what his crew has found, but his description of structures consisting of million-years-old arches and monoliths, the ruined temples of forgotten gods, is a clear reference to the Guardian structure nearby, and possibly also to the ancient Guardian ruin some tens of kilometres distant. Kellerman also describes strange objects like starfish, half buried in the sand, that look like they have fallen from the sky. This is clearly a description of the several crashed Thargoid interceptors that lie within a few kilometres of the Guardian structure. Kellerman correctly infers that the Thargoid and Guardian remains are the technology of different species, and the scientists and the crew surmise that this may be the site of an ancient battle between these two alien species. The second log is dated 5 days after the first, and it is this log that both describes the fate of the final crew members from the Hesperus and gives us a glimpse of the potential of Guardian technology used against ground troops, to devastating effect. The crew of the Proteus, after managing to retrieve a Guardian relic from one of the obelisks, despite the unwelcome attention of a Guardian sentinel, which Kellerman describes as hovering drones, set to work on trying to convert the relic to use as a weapon. This is apparently what both Azimuth Biochemicals and their rival Pharma Sapien have been seeking to do, to harness alien technology to develop new kinds of weapon. It could, as Kellerman muses, have made Azimuth more powerful even than the Sirius Corporation. During the experiments, conducted by a Dr. Farrell, something seems to have gone wrong. Kellerman was wakened by a brilliant blue flash, he says, that seems to have come from everywhere. That sounds like the sort of radiation surge from the so-called Demon Core that caused a number of fatalities at the Los Alamos weapons facility on 20th century Earth. With clothes and bodies burned black, and with the ability to move their muscles rapidly draining from them, it was a matter of hours before all the crew members of the Proteus, the only people to escape from the Hesperus, were dead. And there they lay, for nearly 200 years, one of 3 dead races on that moon, their bodies and the ghosts of the gods beside them keeping the secret of the destructive potential of the Guardian relics. Coming as it does in the wake of the tragic loss of the Aegis research megaship Alexandria, and the consequent loss of thousands of tons of ancient Guardian technology intended to kickstart the search for new technology to fight off the Thargoids, the discovery that Azimuth Biochemicals employees found a way to release the power of the Guardian relic nearly 194 years ago brings hope that if only that power can be harnessed and controlled, a powerful weapon, be it for use against ships or personnel, might yet be possible. Salvation has stated that this search into the history of the early contacts with Thargoid and Guardian technologies may prove critical to the survival of humankind. How better to ensure our survival than having bigger and more effective weapons than our enemy?
The Lave Radio Project was our last best hope for news. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long, located in neutral territory. A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads, community members and developers. A shining beacon in space, all alone on a Tuesday night. It was the dawn of the 3rd chapter of Elite. The year's space legs came upon us all. This is the story of the last of the Lavian stations. The year is 3307. The name of the place? Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 347 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix to Fire, otherwise known as Colin Ford. I'm the Chief Archivist at Lave Station, and joining me in the orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, I am joined by our other crew member, Staff Liaison, Commander Psykit.
Hello.
Hello. Those of you who are expecting a Commander Edelweiss and a Commander Shan, I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. Commander Shan is just taking a little bit of a break at the moment. Hopefully he'll be back soon. But Commander Edelweiss is decided to be... he's decided to spend more time with his family. But then again, he'll probably be back soon as well. So I'm afraid that... there's a lot of you will just have to commiserate there. So, in order to make up for our Lave Radio crew deficiency, I asked for a few temporary stand-ins and got quite a few. So, allow me to introduce Commander Crash.
Greetings.
Welcome back, Commander Crash. We also have Commander Vintion on loan from Hutton Truckers.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening. We also... Oh, good grief. We also have Commander Jathar Birelli. Is that correct?
It's pronounced Burrell, but yeah, go on.
Birelli. I'd given you an Italian surname there. I do apologize.
That's fine. It's been a while since I've been on, so, you know.
Also, we have the Chris Mark IV. He is, at the moment, flying around Lave Station, doing various things. So feel free to say hello to the Chris Mark IV. And of course, we have... Psyche, have you got the a feed heading to the website?
Thought so. I thought I did, but maybe I've been down with technology and not managed it or something.
Right. Well, there's somebody there, but I don't know whether that's you.
I'm at Lave Station, just hanging out, you know.
So yeah, there's Psykit there as well. So if you want to say hello to Psykit, feel free. Yes, we've. Sorry, so many people are here trying to keep track. Now, if you wish, you can join us live. If you can't get to us in game, you can join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or go to twitch.tv/laveradio, or go to YouTube/Lave Radio, or even Facebook/Lave Radio. We're all there. So just quickly, I thought I would also introduce us to Karen. Now, for those of you who don't know who Karen is the person between her and Alan put together Lavecon every year. Now, as you're all aware, Lavecon has had to go to a virtual event, no thanks to the bugs in the air. So, Karen, we have you for a little while.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hello. How are you holding up after the disappointing news? I know it's knocked a lot of people for six, to be honest.
Yeah, busy trying to obviously, deal with the fallouts of that. I'm a bit behind on emails. If you're waiting to hear from me, very sorry. But yeah, so sorting, sort of where we go from here in terms of tickets, what people want, merchandise. Have I mentioned there's merchandise? It's totally merchandise. And kind of, working out the logistics of where we are, what happens next, and planning the virtual event.
So, yeah, for those of you that maybe missed out last year, we ran a virtual event instead of a full-on Lavecon. Can you give us an idea of the kind of things that people can expect to tune into?
Yes, I mean, we're still working on it. I'd love to say it's all finalised, quite finalised. But we've got a number of talks and wonderful people. We've got quizzes and activities and all sorts of exciting things going on. We've got battle cards, a whole battle card tournament going on via Discord, which you totally should get involved in. We're hopefully going to hear about some fabulous miniatures if we're lucky. And yeah, there's, it's a really lovely opportunity to kind of see a few familiar faces, hang out with some friends. I appreciate it's not quite the same as being at the bar, but you can bring your own beer. And, you know, you don't have to worry about driving home afterwards. So, yeah, we'll be on Zoom and Discord and Twitch and YouTube and all the usual and exciting places. So people can kind of choose to either join us in kind of Zoom, where you can chat and kind of be live, as it were, or a bit more remotely and watch things later on YouTube. So there's lots of different ways people can dip in and dip out. And I appreciate with virtual events, you know, there is that opportunity to do it differently. So we might as well make the most of it.
Yeah. So it is the standard weekend, isn't it? It's the 3rd and the 4th of July. So it's a couple of weeks to pull all this together.
Yeah, absolutely. 3rd and 4th of July. We'll be running from 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday through to some point late in the evening, with some dockers and maybe even some hutton truckers if they're feeling so inclined.
You just try and stop us.
Yeah, I would never try and stop you. You are always welcome. So there will be some late night shenanigans going on the Saturday. And then on the Sunday, perhaps finishing at a more civilised hour of sort of 6 o'clock in the evening. But ultimately, it's online. If people want to stick around and chat late into the night, they totally can. And as I said, don't have to worry about the drive home. So yeah, it is a good opportunity. There are some sort of structured plans, as it were, but also just an opportunity to chat and see people, at least as best as we can in the current circumstances.
Excellent. Well, so at the moment, refunds and basically tickets are being handled.
So we're sending emails out. As I said, I am a little bit behind on emails. Very sorry. We are sending emails out to people to let them know their options. Essentially, everybody's got the option of either a full refund or to roll it over to next year. We are caveating the rollover to next year that obviously if the hotel put their prices up, we may have to pass that price rise on. If they don't, then we're all good. But particularly for things like the hotel rooms on the Friday and Sunday nights, we literally have no margin on those. So if the hotel put the prices up, we have to put the prices up. I don't imagine that they're going to do that, and if they do, I'm sure it will only be a couple of quid kind of price rise, so not breaking the bank kind of numbers, but we are sort of caveating that, you know, obviously they've kept the prices the same throughout we've managed to roll them on from last year at the same price, so whether we can roll them on to next year at the same price, we've not had confirmed, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, things should be the same. But either way, you would have, if you've booked a gold ticket, you will have a gold ticket for next year if you roll it over. And if you tell us, if you don't, once we've emailed you, as I said, once you get your email, if you don't respond and we think we haven't heard from you, we will automatically refund the ticket. So do look out for that email and do respond to it, because we can't then necessarily sort of bump you to the front of the queue because you booked last year, if that makes sense. So it's either roll on or refund. If you've booked a VIP platinum ticket and would like your shiny merchandise pack, then do let us know as soon as possible, because we will aim to post them on Friday so that they can get to you before the event, so you can have all your shiny merchandise. And while I'm on the subject of shiny merchandise, we have polo shirts and a few hoodies, although a few people have snapped them up really quickly and we didn't have a huge amount. But we have polo shirts, we have hoodies, and we have fabulous Lavecon face coverings. I appreciate you don't need them for a virtual event, but you know. Yeah, so they're all for sale on our website. So do buy shiny merchandise. It does help sort of cover. We don't have a huge amount of costs, obviously, when we're online. We do have some costs, and that will cover it. Obviously, the cost of the merchandise itself. So we had to buy it because we were hoping, fingers crossed, that we were going ahead, but not. So yeah, if you would like to buy merchandise, we would love you to buy merchandise, and we would really appreciate your support.
Wanda Vintian has a question.
Well, it's more an observation, just to say, yeah, having gone through similar. Oh, well, it wasn't last year, but you know what I mean. The last ECM thing. Yeah, anything we can do to support you from Hutton, and yeah, we'll try and put something together if you need it for the content as well. And I have bagged my hoodie.
Yay!
Which is awesome, because I was saying to you earlier, if I couldn't go this year because I had work. The first work in 500 days because of lockdown, and then the lockdown stopped me going to Lavecon. Boo! And I was upset. But yeah, any support you need from us as well. But I can now go because I'm not working, but I can't go because the reasons for not working mean I can't go to Lavecon. So yeah, any support you need from us, please do. And but yay, I'm getting a hoodie, which I wouldn't have got if you hadn't cancelled it. So there's an upside.
Yeah, definitely. And the hoodies are very cool. The hoodies don't have a year on, so they last, well, until you wear them out, I guess.
They last until the other half puts them in the dryer 4 times in a row, and yeah, they shrink. And I realised that the COVID lockdown belly doesn't fit in an XL.
I can take no responsibility for that side of things. But yeah, no, they are lovely hoodies. We do have a fabulous supplier who does all of our polo shirts and hoodies and the face masks as well this year, so they are very cool.
But looking forward to it, and I'll be joining you, and we will be joining you at some point during the day. I have no idea what the day is doing, but I'm do my best to hop along. So all the very best, and lots of love from us, because we've been there, done that on the ECM thing, and it's enormous hard work. But anything we can do to help, just ask.
Oh, you're brilliant. Thank you so much. We are very fortunate that we have an incredibly supportive community. And honestly, as some of you know, I am the least technical person, in the team. I'm just not technical at all, as demonstrated my complete lack of ability to get on Discord this evening. So honestly, the virtual event couldn't go ahead without Grant and Simon doing all the clever technical things. They are the absolute unsung heroes of Lavecon, both in person and online. So, we need to buy them lots of virtual beers because they are absolutely brilliant. Of course, we have support from all the wonderful Lave Radio team and from, as I said, the wonderfully supportive community as well. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we're going to look forward to the next time we can all get together in person and double down on the next Lavecon.
Yeah, I think make sure that you're an actual real person. I've forgotten what you look like.
Just warn the hotel about the next time we can actually really get together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's likely to be one heck of a party.
Yeah, the person who was dealing with all event stuff has moved area and gone somewhere else. So so the new events team might have a shock next year. So I'll make sure we prepare them. It'll be fine.
Excellent.
We have, of course, I would also say, of course, the wonderful Frontier are no doubt getting involved. We haven't worked out the exact details of what they're up to because they keep going on holiday. Why is that allowed? But yes, I am very sure the wonderful Frontier are going to be there. They have talked about having donating some shiny prizes in our direction. Raffle tickets are a thing. Don't forget the raffle tickets. We have a wonderful raffle in aid of Special Effect and Ellis Danlos Support UK, which are 2 fabulous charities that we are very fond of. So yeah, there will be online raffle tickets. Everybody should buy raffle tickets.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You have been commanded to buy raffle tickets and merch. So...
Absolutely.
Okay, Karen. It's really nice having you on, and I think that's everything, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, do follow us on Twitter, on Discord, on Facebook, on where else are we? We're even on Instagram, honestly. Do check in with us, get all the details for the online event website, of course, including the Lave Radio website. We will make sure all of those places have all the details of where to log on, where to join us. We'd love to see you. It'd be good.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us, Karen, and thanks for bringing us all up to date.
No worries. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. So, yes, now that Karen's gone, we can now go back to business as usual which always is a bit of a worry. So the development news. What? Oh, hang on a second. I think because we're so interested in Karen, we haven't been around everybody to ask how they've been. So, Psykit, since you're the only permanent person here, what have you been up to for the last week?
I don't know. Why do I feel like you've put me on the spot? I've been playing a fair amount of Elite, not doing a hell of a lot else, feeling incredibly warm a lot of the time. I tell you what I have picked up. There's a game that's come out called Phantom Abyss, which is basically you just sort of like run around, and the idea is it's a roguelike and you've got to run around and jump and loads of parkour, and there's a lot of running around shouting parkour, and I've invested far too much time into that game, and it's been out for a day and a half. So, you know, that's been fun. That's been something that I remember having done over the last couple of days, but the rest of it's been a bit
Right.
non-event week, really.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a shame. Okay. Well, right. Okay, I'll move on to Commander Crash. Welcome back, sir. How have you been for the last? I've got you down as the Squee Master.
Oh, as always. Yes, lots of that going on. I've been really busy doing all kinds of random stuff, but I mean, game-wise, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Odyssey, upgrading the suits, upgrading the weapons. I'm really into that loop. I'm a bit of a kleptomaniac that way, so it suits me fine. So lots and lots of that. I did take a brief break from Elite yesterday because the original Quake is now 25. Can you believe? So I had a good blast on that.
Oh my god!
I know. Doesn't it make you feel old? But yeah, I've still got it. I got on there, poning some noobs. So nice to take a break. But yeah, I'm hovering outside the Lave station right now, and I'm itching to carry on getting more suit schematics.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. Commander Vintian, how's the mug?
The mug's under attack at the moment.
What?
If you're talking politics, Sirius Corporation, evil Sirius Corporation. Oh, troublemakers, all of them. No, we're having good fun. I mean, obviously, Hutton being a great big rampaging monster of a thing. So there's lots of BGS stuff. It was lovely to see Dav on a stream earlier. I'm sure you're going to talk about the stream later, but lovely to see Dav talking about BGS stuff on the stream earlier. But we're having the BGS team having a well of a time. War with Sirius, repeated war with Sirius. We're not going to be steamrolled by an evil mega corporation. Player groups trying to muscle in and elbow in on Hutton space. Lots of shenanigans and people running around, combat zones and raiding bases and all stuff. But personally speaking, I've been playing games an awful lot. An awful lot. I for my sins, I think I mentioned it last time I was on. I was helping out HCS. I've actually joined HCS now as a full-time member of the crew because exhibitions and events are shut, and as Karen knows, they're completely shut at the moment, and we're not allowed to play. So it marks 500 days since my last event or exhibition. So I've joined them full time, which is quite good fun because I get paid to play computer games, and I get paid to play Odyssey a lot, which has been awesome fun. I've been doing a lot of video footage. We've got a great big new video that we've been putting together of all the sites and kind of things you can get up to in Odyssey and in Elite, which we've been filming for the last week with one of our superstars doing voiceovers for it as well. So we've been scripting and putting that together, which is going to be coming out, I don't know, hopefully in the next week. And it means I've been trying out a lot of things that I've not tried yet. I mean, I've been engaged a lot in the combat and jumping out of drop ships and pew-pewing people. And what I haven't done is taken time to step on some of these beautiful planets and just look at the scenery. So a lot of the footage we've been doing is in orbit of planets and looking at sunrises over, through some of these atmospheres and things, and setting foot on planet, looking at the footprints. And experiencing some of the glorious sights, and we've been very lucky. I mean, performance has been awesome on the PC, and the video footage is looking stunning. So I spent the last week, basically reveling in Odyssey.
Lovely. Well, it sounds like you've had good luck there. Right, we will.
Luck, luck possibly. I don't know. Maybe I've been very, very lucky not to hit any of the problems.
Yeah, I think that is fair to say. Commander Jathar Burrell, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Colin. How are you?
Yeah, excellent. It's been a while since we had you on last. Anything notable happened since?
No. I did go camping last weekend for the first time since the before times. It was a bit soggy, but still met up with a few mates that I haven't seen again since, what was it, September 2019? So that was good. Been playing a lot of Elite over the last week, except for the weekend. I'm loving Odyssey for the bits that I've seen. I know I'm now some kind of vulture. I am now raiding abandoned settlements, scanning corpses to steal their identities, and quite frankly, I love it.
Excellent. Right. Well, let's dive into it now that everybody's had their say. The development news. What have the devs been happening this week? Well, obviously, last Thursday, Odyssey Update 4 came out, and there was an awful lot of 160 plus fixes. The highlights really included at least 39 fixes to the map UI. Galnet audio is back. There was about 5 or 6 small optimizations that help speed up the frames per second. And one of the most important thing is that players are now invulnerable in social spaces. So no more naughty killing players by ramming your spaceship through the station windows. Thank you very much. Just quickly go around the crew, see if they've noticed any difference with between update 3 and 4. Crash, have you noticed much in the way of difference?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm more consistent frame timings, better frame rates overall. I'm getting pretty much a locked frame rate, which is good. It's always good to see better performance. Definitely, I think they got a way to go with it with a few things. Definitely, I don't want to get really technical on it. I could do, but we'd be here for hours. But yeah, generally the little things. It's nice to see all the quality of life things. The galaxy map improvements. Some things have gone back to the way they were before. I think there's a handful of things which still need a little. I'm gonna die on the hill, but I'm saying we need those color coordinated buttons put back as some kind of legend. 'Cause I can't remember whether something in war is orange or red or yellow. I don't remember from one click to the next. So, but yeah, it's just my bad memory. But yeah, overall, it's a good update. I think there's a lot of things have gone in. I think with any one of these updates, there's always going to be kind of like a time lag, and then suddenly you're going to get a big influx of all these changes. So I think overall, great update. Yep, I'm pleased.
Excellent. And Vincian, you say you haven't had the issues that a lot of people have had. So, how have you found this update?
I mean, frame rates have improved. I mean, I'm running on an older i5, 1080 graphics card. I have to feel the need to quantify what I'm running on there because, yeah, I mean, back at Alpha, I was having to bump the graphics down, the bloom and the blur down, and the super sampling down to 0.75. Getting a little bit technical to make it smooth as. I'm finding now that I'm running the same as I do in Horizons. I'm getting a solid 60 frames a second. But actually, turn off that little number in the corner. Seriously, that little number in the bottom left-hand corner, just turn it off. I remember reading on the forums somebody who was saying they were upset because they were getting 25 frames a second in a lift. I was like, dude, what are you actually doing in a lift that actually means that matters? Put away the number, bottom left, right, and go and enjoy yourself. And yeah, okay, fine. If it dips and it gets a bit janky, then fine. Drop something down a tiny bit. But I'm finding a solid 60 frames a second. I went last night to raid a base. I was hunting for the ionized gas. I don't know if anyone's got any hints on ionized gas, but I've got all the suit schematics. I've got all the weapon schematics. I'm there with it. I've gone and bought the grade 3s. I want to get these weapons and suits up a bit. And can I find the gas now? Yeah, back in alpha, I found it all the time. So I've been hunting lockdown systems to try and find infrastructure failure and lockdown systems to try and find stuff that's got gas lying around in cupboards. And raiding bases, occasionally they airdrop people into it. It's dark. I've got the night vision. I'm hiding around corners trying to get these guys, heart in the mouth kind of stuff. And, go raid a base, and all of a sudden somebody walks through the door in front of you, and you properly bio-waste your pants at that point. And having great fun doing that. And then, of course, you get a phone call from Mr. Cal last night. Cal, I talked to quite regularly.
This is hesitant.
Yeah, and so I take the call. I had run out of the base sensibly, and I'd got into my SRV thinking, I have a few minutes chat with him, and then 2 hours later I come back and, yes, your SRV has been destroyed. I ran out of power in the SRV and blew up because I was talking to Mr. Cow. So yes, I have been shamelessly killed by Mr. Cow in the last week, and he didn't even log in to do it.
Wow, that's...
But frame rates and the bug fixes, I mean, the UI stuff, there's a couple of glitches in the UI, I think. When you click to refuel, your cursor jumps down too, which from a work point of view is really crap because it doesn't stay where it is, it jumps down to. So I've been working really hard on fixing that. There's a small little thing like that. But no, I've not noticed any problems with the latest release, and in fact, the performance is significantly better.
Well, we can all take solace that you can always find gas in Uranus. So
exactly. I haven't tried there yet.
Yes. There's somewhere for you to
Send
try.
the actress to the bishop, yes.
Psyche, have you noticed much difference?
I will very much preach the same, just turn that number off in the corner. It does make all of the difference. If you're not constantly watching it, I honestly, personally haven't felt the dips in frames as much as I would have done had I been watching it constantly.
Yeah, I must admit, I have gone and switched. I must admit, I have switched it off. But I did notice that there does seem to be a lot more smoother. If my frame rate is low, it used to be sort of how shall I put it? It used to work fine and then stop for a little second, and then work fine for for a little second, and the frame rate would drop and bounce back up. And the thing was that this update, even though the frame rate for me is still quite low, it's a lot smoother. So I'm finding it a lot easier this time round.
Yeah.
I think Crash is about to explode.
It's just technical. Yeah, that's what I meant by like the frame timings. The frame rating is much better than this update. Yeah, more consistent time.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna butt in for a sec. Sorry, I know it's bad etiquette to butt in, but it's me all over. The other thing is, I mean, Crash was talking earlier about playing Quake.
Oh my God! Here we go back at old times.
Yeah, we're talking old school. I mean, Quake didn't look great, but oh my goodness, was it fun? Yes. I mean, it looked great at the time, but looking back on it now, it's blocky and whatever else. The point is, it's enjoyable to sit back and play. And if you have to bump something down a level just to be able to enjoy yourself and have fun, then knock it down a level and just kick back and enjoy yourself. I mean, that's what I've been doing. If it does get low, just crank it down a tiny bit and have fun pew-pewing people. I mean, I didn't realize that headshots are a thing, and bonuses on headshots with the various weapons are a thing. I now know. But yeah, this obsession with I've got to have the biggest number is a big problem. And just as Psychic says, just don't worry about the number. Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's gonna take the enjoyment out of the game if you're constantly going, oh, I've had a drop there, oh, I've had it's not worth it. I wouldn't be able to tell you what I have at the moment, but I just ran over a guy in my crate and it was beautiful.
I did that in my SRV. It was cool. It was very bad of me. I'm going to get points
You
for my
got to kill him
license.
in the crates. You got to do him from your ship. Just like, it's beautiful.
And
No, I
Sidekick
keep
knows
getting
all
stuck
about
on pylons.
taking people's heads off with a shotgun, don't you?
Yeah, not with a shotgun. I'm not very good with the shotgun. I'm not. If I have one complaint.
Oh, okay.
If I have one complaint, and this isn't a complaint, this isn't a huge complaint, but the one thing that I'm really, really struggling with is getting my head around the engineering of the suits and the weapons and all of that sort of stuff. And I love engineering, so it's a big struggle.
Right. Okay. We'll pop over to Jathar. Have you seen much in the difference between update 3 and 4?
As I said, I've noticed it's a lot smoother. And I have been guilty of having the number in the corner just to check, because I'm running a 3070, so I was getting slightly better frame rates before the update anyway. But it was so janky when it was switching between getting in a lift or going into a social hub. But it's a lot smoother. And then, like Psyche said, I have turned it off because I don't want to know anymore. I just want to sit back and watch it. And, now that it's actually watchable, and not janky to my eyes. I have been afraid to go into VR, though, because I'm not sure that's still quite sorted yet.
Yeah, I'm getting reports from people saying that VR doesn't seem to be working just yet. And especially if you get something like less than 45 frames a second, then it really can cause issues. So, Crash, you want to jump in?
I've got a notepad of things here. I could go on all the day. I have managed to get VR working actually whilst we're on the topic of that, and I did manage to try the little hacky, exploity way of trying VR on foot, which is amazing.
In the show notes for a lot later.
Sorry, we'll come back to that then. But no, I think the biggest problem I think a lot of people have been having with performance is not trying to step on your toes, Dave, or anything, but I've seen this as well, is that knocking the quality down doesn't currently have an impact on upping the performance, and that's I know that Frontier are aware of that and they're working on that. There's technical issues internally in the engine with why that's happening, which is why it's not scaling particularly well to other people's engine, other people's hardware and stuff. And you say shadow and bloom and all that stuff. Yeah. Off. I have that off anyway. I hate depth of field. I hate blur. I hate bloom. All that stuff is off by default. But yeah, for myself and a lot of people, even on really capable machines on the lowest settings, still getting performance which is lower than what you'd expect. Which is a thing that they can solve. I know they've got the technical know-how to do that. It's just a case of getting it all merged in. And I know they've spoke about that in previous weeks, that you got all of these multiple concurrent branches with multiple people working on different things, and most of the problems have come from the fact that in trying to combine all that together into one single product, things have been dropped and missed. So hopefully they will get there.
Right. So basically, I think general consensus of everyone here who's played Odyssey update 4, it's a bit of a thumbs up. Well, what else happened on Thursday? Well, they had a Frontier live stream with the SPVFA guesting on the live stream. Now, this included various people such as Orange Phoenix, and these the SPVFA are the guys that go out and get those fantastic photographs. And they took the CMs, one of which was Sally, through basically a masterclass in how to actually get the shot that you needed. I quite enjoyed that. So, guys, anybody else catch this one? We'll start with Dave.
Well, the stream was just generally about SPVFA and their legendary skills.
Well, you can actually cover both, actually, if you wish.
I have to say, I mean, back in years and years ago now, it makes me sound old. Back
You
ages
are
ago,
old.
I used to go around Stabler, Chris and John Stabler's house.
Yeah.
Back before we had the external camera, and we used to set up a land rig, and we used to look through the roof of the Sidewinder with the head tracker. So we had a track IR. I'd use the track IR, and I'd rig it so I could look through the ceiling of the Sidewinder, and then the stablers would position their ships just right to get some of these pictures. And we would take at the time what we thought were stunning photographs, and they were stunning screenshots. And then we fast forward to now, and you look at the stream, and you look what the SPVFA do to get some of these shots, with the in-game tools, with the camera suite, and the focus that you can pull on all sorts. And some of them do processing on things they publish that sort of not officially qualified. Most of them don't, and oh my goodness gracious me! I mean, it is. It's stunning, the work by these guys and the effort they put into some of these pictures, and some of the talent they have in being able to take these also just set up the shots and take them and filter and focus everything just right. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it took Zach and Sally through I think through some of the little tricks that they use, and I'd never used the blur function before, so I didn't even know we could do that. So, Sidekit, did you follow this stream?
I have D&D on a Thursday night. I can very rarely catch any of them.
Fair enough. We'll move on.
Sorry.
Crash. Crash.
Unfortunately, single parent rules. I just don't find the time. It's just I would love to, but sounds great. I'll have to go back and watch the VOD.
Yeah. Jithar?
I am so behind on all my streams and podcasts and everything. I'm even behind on Lave Radio, and I had to just bite the bullet and listen to what happened last week this morning.
Dave, did you see it? Or was I the only one? I guess I was the only one. Right. Now, one of the things that we should mention at the moment is that on Friday, Sally put out a request for a focused feedback thread. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sally was actually one of the original developers of the camera suite. And on the forums, you'll find the thread about some requirements for the feedback. Now, I think we should just actually say hi to Sally and the CM team, who I think for the last week or so have been actually going above and beyond what they have done in the past. And yes. Dave, did you want to say something?
Well, I mean, just seeing the patch notes threads. I don't know whether. I mean, obviously, whenever a patch comes out, Thursdays these days in the morning, you sit there and you sort of read War and Peace, and you read the hundreds and hundreds of lines, and then you see the message saying, "Right, I'm online now" by Sally, and this sea change by the CM team where Sally has personally responded to every single. Well, maybe it's not every single person, but it feels like every single person's query, request, problem, bug report, everything in that thread. And it starts off in the morning that the patch notes get posted. The last one was just before the patch landed as well, which was well received. And then there is this storm of Sally. I'm having my coffee now, and any CM team can just say, "Yeah, just ticket it, just ticket it, just ticket it." But it's done with style and panache and a lot of pink. An awful lot of pink. And there's also like, can you report it? I can see that report coming through now. And the sea change they put in on that and the interactivity has been absolutely fantastic. And I feel it's been sort of well appreciated by people, because rather than sort of responding with, "Oh, this is still broken," this is broken. Then there's "Oh, cool. Can you get me this screenshot and submit it?" And then they say, "Yeah, I've done that." And then there's the next response is, "I can see that coming through now, and I put it on a sticky note on my screen, and squee, I've run out of coffee." And sorry to kidnap Karash's squee on that one. And what we're seeing on those threads and what we're seeing on the request for information on the camera suite is an interactivity level that is really appreciated by people personally. I've put my time into reporting it, whatever else, and someone's giving me feedback. And same on the camera suite thread. People are saying, oh, the blackout. Every time you try and use the camera suite on foot, you get these blackouts all over the place. And you feel like you're getting a response. Now, of course, the response is actually no different from, just ticket it. But it's been done with a bit of style. And I think people are really appreciating that one. And when people talk about the blackout when you're using the camera on foot, there's a response that makes you feel that someone's listening. They probably were already listening, but it's just got a bit of feedback that makes you feel like what you've just done reporting it and giving the feedback is being listened to. And it's really appreciated.
Yeah, I must admit, I noticed that Zach does it pretty much the same thing. Admittedly, not with as much style as Sally, but he has been making an absolute effort in replying to as much as he can. I mean,
there's some personality to it as well. You get a feeling of the passion these guys, and they do. And I know there's lots of negativity, sort of saying, "No, they don't care about the game." Oh my goodness, do they care? And in their own style, they've been let free to their own style. I mean, Zach has got his own style of responding. Yes. Sorry, I'm waxing lyrical again, but credit to the entire team, not just to Sally.
Yes. One of the so what we'll do is obviously there's a link in our show notes to the focus feedback thread. So if you have any ideas about how the camera suite can be improved, or if you have issues with it, that is the place to actually go and drop things off. Now, obviously,
can I ask a question? Sorry, I'm being terrible as a guest. Can I ask a question though? Have you used it? Do we have any personal requests here in the studio? Are there things you'd love to see in that? As a talking, sorry to cut across you. Is anybody?
There's obviously some of the blackout issues that means that I can't take some of the shots that I want. I mean, and there's some lighting issues, but then again, that's not really the problem with the camera suite. That's basically the lighting issues, which is under development. Anybody else?
Shaders.
What?
I want to be able to do crazy shaders and I can't think of anything quite, but no, I've been able to do things with you Minecraft did it for a while. You can go into the menu options, you can just do custom shaders.
But for me, it was remembering your camera position from when you exited the camera. That's the big thing. So you can set up a shot, then fly down, and then switch the camera, and it remembers where you were last time.
I love that. That's such a good suggestion.
Wow. Yeah, that is. Well, you could have sort of 5 or 6 hot spots where you can just go back to them.
Because if you can do that, then you can set up. Somebody's flying across your front. You can time it. You can hit the camera button, and then you've got that shot lined up immediately. You don't have to sort of get the shot, reposition. At the moment, we can do static shots because you set it up and then you put the camera live and I've just missed that awesome moment. I mean that one with the, was it a type 10 flying across a bunch of commanders' heads?
Yes, it was.
So much work at the moment to set that up, but if it remembered your camera position, that becomes an easy shot to do, or easier shot,
or maybe 4 different savable camera positions, so you can sort of go, let's save this as camera position 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then when you're practicing these shots, you can move around a little bit and then just move back to 4 different camera positions so you can take different angles. Oh, that'd be amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, my asp looks good at this angle. It's the perfect tagline for that one. But yeah, for me, being able to preset a camera at a certain location because I know the activity is happening in that area, and being able to hit camera view, and that's it. And also remembering that your HUD is off last time. So if your HUD was off when you left the camera, your HUD should be off when you go back to it. So that you've got the shot on the spot. You hit the button, you've got the view, hit screenshot, or start your video recording. That's it. That is the shot. And that would be, I mean, for me, that's ultimate wish list.
Well, I take it you've put it on the thread.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
I
So the
wouldn't be doing my
feedback's in
job
that.
properly if I didn't. No.
Right. Now, obviously, that brings us round to today's Super Cruise news. Now, there wasn't actually much in the way of news this week because they are preparing for getting one of these dev forums running at the end of the month, and also at the end of the month out is supposed to come update 5. But they did have Dav make a surprisingly quick guest appearance and answer a few questions on the stream. Obviously, it's to do with the BGS issues that have been happening this in Odyssey. I take it, Dave, that this is you've been following what Dav has been saying on this one.
I mean, I follow everything Dav says because Dav's a legend. But yeah, I mean, the anarchies thing. I don't know whether anybody else has been following the whole conversation about anarchies and how they were taking a real big hit. Yeah. So there have been some balancing issues to do with crime is currently overpowered as well, but they're aware of them. I mean, it's clear that Dav is looking at it. I think there was a tweak in the last patch to do with crime and anarchies and where the crime was being allocated so that anarchies are taking less of a kicking.
Yeah.
Which is good for anarchies. I mean, I think Colonia, I think there are 4 anarchies or anarchy groups out in Colonia, and they're trying to maintain an anarchic system, and they found it very hard. Certainly in Hutton systems, there's a couple of anarchy pirate factions in there, and they've just found themselves, through no deliberate act of ours, down on 1% all the time.
Yeah.
So there's clearly some balancing to do, but Dav's very aware of it. They're looking at it, and of course you've got this balance for people playing Horizons only and doing their normal activities, their normal, trading or exploration drop-offs and playing the BGS that way. And you've got the new Odyssey people who are coming and doing, oh my goodness, there's a base and Karash is going to smash it to bits and rob all the stuff, which is clearly having quite a profound effect on the BGS.
Now, is it though? Because this is one thing I've noticed. Normally to do one of these BGS missions takes an awful lot longer than if you're doing a standard Horizon.
Well, I mean, if you're Psychic and you're driving your crate and you're mowing people down in your crate with the nose of your crate, it's quite easy to rack up an awful lot of crime.
It is. However, there is definitely warrant to saying, okay, a settlement clear is going to take a little bit longer than going and delivering data, for example, and effectively, so it's supposed to return the same influence. On the back of that, I will constantly be frustrated on the lack of cap of negative influence. I really want them to look at that, and I hope they do a thread.
Oh, crime at the moment, is a thing. I mean, playing the BGS as Hutton, as a group, as a BGS active group, lockdown is the new sort of group versus group meta. You can put endless lockdown with a couple of players on an owning faction or any faction you like through what we call minor crime, pew-pewing bases, doing a Karash, smashing stuff and robbing things. And there appears to be a new meta sort of evolving where it's not a case of going and blowing up spaceships, which take time. There is clearly a crime meta to do with on foot that is, it's not exploitable, it's usable to achieve your aims, and there's a balance needed. So crime is currently a thing, and the ability to put factions in lockdown is so easy now, which is bad.
That does sound bad. Right, well, I think that brings us to the end of this roundup. Just quickly, we'll touch on the in-game events which have been happening this week. So on the 16th of June, 3307, electoral reforms were proposed by the Alliance. This is basically the loser of the Prime Minister election has decided that she doesn't like the system that she lost under, so she'd like to change it so that she's got a better chance next time. On the 17th of June, materials were needed for the enhanced ship module. This is the advanced discovery. not the advanced discovery scanner, the advanced surface scanner. Now it's a double engineered ship module. It's the community goal. I think you've got approximately until basically Wednesday evening to supply enough materials to help with that. Of course, on the 18th of June, the Guardian and Thargoid battlefield discovery was mentioned finally on Galnet. This was the in-game event that happened last Thursday, which was discovered, I think, 24 hours after it was announced. These events just go so fast; they're almost impossible to stop. And then there was some Corporus stalled by the Jupiter's division's defeat. Now, this is basically since Jupiter's division was defeated by commanders in the community goal the other day, they are not taking that too well. And of course, the moralists have now sort of said, "Oh, we want to be friends with the Empire. We want to have a senator," which was announced today on the 22nd. And yeah, that's. I mean, looking at the news which has been happening this week, it's actually been quite diverse. Psyche, have you been following the Galnet news?
I try. I dabble. The CG's already finished, I think. If I'm not very much mistaken, that's 70%.
Yeah.
70% yesterday. So I think the CG's done.
Damn. Well, I'm out by where the actual battlefield is, so there's no chance of me getting back in time.
But I do enjoy a Galnet.
Yeah.
Both actually seeing it and also the Galnet News Digest.
Oh, yes, that is actually one thing that we do have to mention, is that one of the fixes that were put in on Update 4 is that they have put the audio back in for Galnet News. So not only do you have a certain Galnet News Digest, which might be available at the end of this show from a Commander Witherspoon and Jude, we also have the official Galnet, which is in your cockpit. Although I'm being told it's not as good as Commander Witherspoon. So, yes.
No, I mean, he digests the news with Jude, so you don't have to.
It does seem so. At the moment, well, Operation Ida is continuing. However, they have just managed to complete, I think it's Corrigan Terminal in the Pleiades sector HR-WDL-74. I think that one's complete, but we'll have to wait and see. And in other news, the Antozino excursions are continuing. There's one in Atlas, HR-1183 Delphi, and HIP 18390. Well, as of yesterday, they might have been cleared because the Antizino guys are very good at clearing them. And there are still evacuations happening at Ark's Faith, California's Freeport, Sinian Orbital, and Donner's Oak. So that brings us to the end of the in-game events. I think it's time for Souverine's favourite song.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Which one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Which one will you buy?
And welcome back. Well, the store alert this week, well, it seems to be two kinds. We've now got a ship store alert and an on-foot store alert. So for your ship store alert, everybody, you can have a Viper Mark III shutter paint job, which I actually quite like the look of that one. A nice red shuttering Viper. And unfortunately, it's not as out there as the Evel Knievel ones. What do you think?
I think it looks like someone's chucked a can of black paint at a red ship, and that's it. I'm not loving it, to be honest.
Oh, seriously? Okay, fair enough.
Oh, I quite like it. I like the asymmetric looking ones.
Quick question: do the NPCs ever wear any of these skins?
No, it's just commanders.
I think that has to go on Wishlist Central. Is that the NPCs showcase some of these skins? You know, the pirates should show the raider ones, and you know, I think they've missed a trick on this one. That you know, some of the NPCs should show stuff. Oh, I really want that. You know.
And now that you've actually mentioned it, then it's an easier way to visually ID a pirate, isn't it? If they come in the pirate, if you've got the pirate bodywork on it.
I think that has got to be a wish list special, that some of the NPCs should wear some of these skins to make you want to have them. You know, I mean, pirates with that raider spiky skin and, you know, bodies stuck on the end of the spikes and proper Mad Max style turn up in Anarchy. So that'd be cool.
That's excellent. Well, that's flying around. This is the first time I've actually seen 2 store alerts at the moment. The second store alert is basically the Manticore Oppressor Chevron skins. So basically, we've got an awful lot of weapons that now have pink stripes. Do you think Sally's been let loose?
Have you seen the actual wording of what they put out on Twitter about this?
Go on.
When your opponent charges into battle with a pink assault rifle, you know they're not afraid of anything. Is the official line for this one. Add some pastel power to your armory with the chevron weapon pattern from Manticore assault rifles, pistols, and shotguns.
So basically, you can die with poor taste.
Hey, with that advert, sign me up. I want a big pink gun to go and raid a settlement with.
Exactly. You know.
Oh, thank God Ben's not here.
You know when you've been murderized to death and you're lying on the floor. They don't do it anymore. But you remember when the NPCs used to stand over you and put another 50 shots into you after you were dead?
Just to make
Imagine
sure.
looking up from the ground at the pink manticore that was doing it, thinking, "I suck. I have just died in the most embarrassing way possible. Someone killed me with pink."
Oh, you can. You know what? At the moment, I have got this little voice in the side of my head, and you just know it's Ben going, yeah.
Eddie Lee Wise and Sons,
Eddie Lee.
daughters. We've got new pink paint for your shotgun.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a advert break, and we'll come back with our main discussion.
Want to tour the frontier? Travel with Colmac Reeve and our new fleet of passenger starliners. We've opened up the universe for a range of budgets. Option 1, luxury.
My husband and I like to travel in comfort. The new luxury cabins were like a home away from home. After all, one's home is a castle.
Option 2, first class.
We'd saved up a bit for a really special trip. The first class cabins were like nothing we've travelled in before. Really luxurious.
Option 3, travel cabin.
We won a trip with Cormac Reeves' monthly lotto. A travel cabin for 2 on a starliner around the solar system. Once in a lifetime for us. Simply amazing.
Option 4, basic accommodation.
Me and my mates just wanted to hitch around the universe. It's so great that we have the option of getting a really cheap cabin to see the sights. It saved us loads.
And for the budget conscious and slaves, we have our cheapest option yet.
Well, I needed a...
And we won't sell any of those frozen passengers into slavery, I promise. Colmac Reeves all budget tours, seeing the galaxy from luxury to freezing tubes.
This is a public service announcement from the Fuel Rats.
please stop what you're doing and pay attention. If we can rescue you, we will, but you can help us help you by following these easy steps. 1. Fly 50 light seconds or so from the system's main star and drop out of supercruise. 2. Note down the current system and the nearest stellar body. 3. If you're on emergency life support, log out immediately. 4. Go to fuelrats.org and click Get Help. 5. Stay calm, hold your breath, and let our seasoned professionals do what they do best. The Fuel Rats. We have fuel, you don't. Any questions?
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Natural remedies have always been some of the galaxy's finest, so when we discovered a wholly natural way of slimming down and reducing your appetite, we had to share it with everyone. Harnessing the amazing powers of our native parasitic life, we've solved an age-old problem. Vega Slimweed has been used by settlers of the region for decades with undeniable results and significant health benefits. If you think that Vega Slimweed could be the solution you're looking for, speak to your doctor today. Travelling with Vega Slimweed ingested may constitute smuggling. Please check before your journey and declare yourself at customs for an internal search. Failure to digest does not constitute grounds for reimbursement. Side effects may include, but are not limited to, increased blood pressure and heart rate, insomnia, nervousness, blurred vision, restlessness or headache. Some forms of parasite may cause stomach side effects like constipation, dry mouth, nausea, or vomiting. A small sample of patients exhibit full body paralysis, catatonic state, and internal hemorrhaging. Parasite must be purged before pupation, else death will occur.
And welcome back. Now, as you know, we've had a lot of negative reviews, or at least unpositive reviews, which have come out from a lot of gaming sources. However, most of the issues that they have been commenting about has been performance and networking. They have commented, most of them, such as Massively OP, Obsidian, and Hawks Gaming, they've all said that there are sections of Odyssey where they are having fun. So one of the things is I thought I'd ask all our guests that have been on, that have arrived as, once the performance issues are resolved, or if they've been resolved with you, where is the fun you're having in Odyssey? So I think we'll start with Commander Jitha, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, let's say a lot of negative stuff happened, and when I started my Odyssey, as it were, I thought, I want to get out there and start exploring and see the new planets, and I just started panicking about the equipment I needed. So I just took a step back and thought, right, start from the beginning, get the suits, get them upgraded, get the equipment you need. So I just started on the grind, and you know how everyone that plays Elite loves the grind, and then just discovering all the bases that you need, particular bases that will supply your suit schematics, or go into one that's got an abandoned SRV, and you think, okay, is there a power regulator? Is there a working power regulator in there? And it's like it's that rolling the dice every time I land somewhere, an abandoned settlement, going, has this got the thing I need? Are there roving scavengers there? Will I have to run away from them because I'm bad at pew pew, really bad? I've never played it, and then I actually found a bit of a love for that just last week when I accidentally into a civil war.
That's not something you really want to do.
No, I was trying to land at this place that just it was rich with suit schematics and power regulators, and every time, not every time, but most times I was getting stuff that I needed, and they wouldn't let me land. I thought, oh no, it's a combat zone. Do I really want to, get this sorted so I can get my little robbing place back? So I thought, okay, I'll do it. I'll bite the bullet. I'll start at a conflict zone. So I went off to frontline. Bearing in mind, none of my weapons have been upgraded at all. And I got in the dropship. I went, fine, okay, let's do this. And I died quite a lot. But I just found it really fun to be running around this settlement grabbing a control point, and essentially, if I couldn't really shoot the opposing faction, I could just sit there and hide while the counter went up until we got the control point.
Yeah.
And then I was running around again, and I was shooting some people, and then I was dying. But I thought, this is fun. I mean, I've never had much fun in combat anyway. I mean, I only got combat elite because I just in my ship because I just sat there blasting Thargoid scouts with the ridiculously overpowered Corvette. But actually being there and actually not having the skill and not having the equipment as well, and just throwing myself in was just an amazing experience.
I'm just going to ask this question. I mean, that kind of thing you never would have appealed to you before? So you wouldn't have played stuff like Overwatch or old school deathmatch games or Fortnite or anything like that.
I mean, we mentioned Quake. I used to play Quake networked at uni and things like that, but it never really properly took off with me. I'm more of an RPG player.
The point I'm trying to get is that's your first experience of that kind of.
It is, yeah. I've never really done first person shooting properly. It just never really grabbed me. But because it's part of Elite now, that I'm already, massively invested in, I thought, okay, let's just see. And it was brilliant. 3 days I fought this war, and we won.
Excellent. Right. Well, I'll move over to Commander Crash.
Yeah, I mean,
where's the fun that you're having then?
Echoing a lot of the same sentiments there, Shithara. I mean, I feel personally, with all the mechanics that have been put in now, I feel a lot more engaged as an individual. I feel like I'm more connected to the experience. I know that sounds wishy-washy, but definitely it's like with the things before, I felt a bit kind of detached, like, you're piloting a ship, you're up at this certain scale. But being on foot, it just makes all of the activities that I used to do make more sense. Everything feels more cohesive. I mean, kudos to FDev. They historically got a lot of slams in the past for the balance not being good. I find the balance in this is great. The power curve, the progression from coming in with G1 level stuff and going into conflict zones, and then working up through that, getting all the suit mechanics, suits upgrades and things like that. I just feel like it's a lot more of a flat progression than with ships. I think that the problem that the base game had even before the engineers come out is that power curve of going from a sidey up to the biggest ship. There was such a disparity there that the game was always going to be unbalanced and very difficult for people to get into unless they were there on day one. But I definitely feel like with the combat on foot, it's a lot more enjoyable. You can jump into it at any stage and have fun. I keep discovering new mechanics, which I think is great. I'm really engaged with the loop of gathering the suits and weapon upgrade materials that you need. And I find myself now, I'm just going on the mission board and I'm not even looking at what kind of mission it is. It's like, as long as it gives that reward, I'm going off and doing it and finding new experiences, which I haven't done in the base game for so long. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean with that.
Yeah, it's like in the base game, I'd find a certain kind of mission type that I would just do over and over because it was the easiest and it got the best rewards, and I would just keep doing it. But with this, I feel like I'll try a little bit of everything. Like everything is fun and interesting, and the experience is different every time. You don't know what's going to happen. I've had, I've been tired with that brush now. Thanks, Dave. But helping liberate materials from these settlements. I've been going into that loop and it's quite enjoyable. And the other day I had one experience where I've got into the loop of you shut the power down, you take all the gear, and then I had them call in backup. And ship came down and landed, which I didn't realize that was an actual mechanic, but a ship came in with some extra people and surprised me. So I like the kind of variation. It's very, very kind of dynamic, and I really enjoy it.
Excellent. Psychit, you are the FPS expert.
I'm an expert is a strong word.
Well, you're more of an expert than I am. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, damn. Go on then.
You know how I feel about this. I've said it like lots of times now. How much enjoyment I am getting out of just having stuff to learn again and having new things to do. Over the last couple of, I'm still not very good at getting suits and all of that nonsense and upgrading my suits, but I'm doing all right with the stock stuff. It's okay. But it's going to somewhere, not really knowing what you're doing. And what did I do the other day? I did a covert, some kind of covert sabotage, or like a covert steal the power regulator, something along those lines. And the amount of satisfaction that I got after completing that and it going smoothly, they are so tricky, and it is so rewarding to learn something new in Elite again. Yes, I love the conflict zones. The conflict zones are a lot of fun. But little bits that you can do on your own as well are excellent.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I've got to ask about that, I mean, the stealth mechanics of actually creeping around a base, how are you finding those?
Oh, it's nonsense, but it's wonderful. I managed to pick up a suit, a Maverick suit, which has got quiet footsteps, and that's made it infinitely easier. But it's fun. It's fun. It's you have like those proper, oh god, have they seen me? And having a button assigned to being able to wipe all of your clearances that you stole.
Yeah.
That's really useful. So thanks for adding that one in.
Oh, right. I must have missed that one. So basically,
you can assign a key to wipe all of the settlement security clearances that you have, and it just zeroes out straight away. You can do it as someone is coming towards you with a scanner, and it starts the whole process again. But it is so good. I love it so much. It's a lot of fun.
Oh no, that sounds excellent. I'm gonna have to give that one a try. Vintian, go on then. Where are you finding your fun?
I've been hopping on planets. Obviously, I've been doing the bases, and I've been doing, with work, I've been dropping out dropships, and I have to say that the whole red light dropship moment where you drop back into a combat zone, we've been dropping in some of the voices from Vasco, which I think there was a prize winner with you guys a couple of weeks back. But it's great fun when you get the whole Flash Gordon moment as you drop out of the dropship is awesome, and I love that. And I with the engineered gear, I'm up to sort of, I can do a 450, 500 nil win now. But there are moments when it's balanced in such a way, even with all the gear, they drop ships like 5 guys on top of you, and it hits the fan. It hits the fan from a great height. And even though you've got all the gear, it's still difficult and it's still challenging. So you haven't got that sort of uber gear kind of moment where I'm just walking through this like the Terminator, killing everybody. You can still have a brown trousers moment, even if you've got all the gear. And that balance-wise, that's lovely. But I've been trying out the planetary POIs. You go to the Threat 2, Threat 3 crash ships and whatever.
Oh, right, yes.
I went to a distress call one, and I dropped down, and there were 4 scavengers, and there was some other guy to one side. And there was actually an NPC who wasn't one of the scavengers there, the guy who clearly had crashed or landed the ship, and it was his ship, and he was hiding behind a hill. So I took out the scavengers, and I thought, shoot him. Oh, no, he's not a bad guy. And he wasn't. He was the actual pilot of the ship as well. So there's a few little wrinkles in there where it's quite cool because you're rescuing somebody. I didn't take enough time to read the NPC messages, but I felt quite good saving this guy from the scavengers that had come down to rob his ship. And that felt quite cool. I really enjoyed that one. Other than that, I went to a base last night, and you're looking through the windows and scanning people through the windows to get their ID, to open the door, to get in there, and then you use your overload tool to zap them. So you can sneak up behind people and zap them with the overload tool so they collapse to the floor. So the whole infiltration thing is is cool, and you get the night vision on your suit, and you can sneak properly. And as you say, with the upgrades to the suit, with the quiet walking and the stealth mechanics, and then the night vision, you can proper ninja your way into a base, and I love that. I mean, I don't like it because it scares me, but I do like it because it scares me. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that. I mean,
on a dark planet with no lights, and then scavs drop in off a drop ship, and you're in a base, you think, oh, they've just dropped like 8 scavs outside, and I've got to get back to my ship. And you're on night vision trying to sneak out without getting shot. That's cool. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Right. Well, I mean, from my point of view, where I've been getting the most enjoyment out of Odyssey is it has been kind of a cross-up between investigating with my main character the points of interest that you've mentioned, Dave. I've found that to be really interesting because it feels joined up with the ship mechanics, and also I must admit, I'm still enjoying the exploring and the logging of all these biologicals. And I'm finding planets now with 7 or 8 biological signals on them. And then when I finally land, I find out it's not 7 or 8 plants or bacteria I've got to find. Those are only the different types. There's no... If you land and they say, "Oh, there are bushes there," you look through and you'll see there's a lot more slots of undiscovered biologicals that are there than the 5 or 6 that they mentioned, and I think that's great. I'm a bit annoyed that it's very, very difficult to find bacteria. I think every time I scan there and there's one biological and you see it says bacteria, oh, forget it. Move on to that next one.
Or fly upside down for a while, looking at the ground, looking for a space that looks like your SRV's wet itself on the floor somewhere. Oh,
yeah. I mean, I do wish that they would add the geologicals are already on the SRV scanner, but I do think the biologicals need to be added as well. I'm not saying that exploration is perfect, but I'm saying that there is a lot going on there that's actually making me interested in the planets rather than the honk scan and move on to the next system, which is what I used to do. I hardly ever landed. Not once I've got all my mats. So, looking around for most of this stuff that you've been discussing is all been mission based. I mean, have you found that it's been? I mean, perhaps this is me just being too cowardly, but is it just me, or is the naughty missions more fun?
Oh, so much more fun.
Yeah,
absolutely more fun.
I get to be naughty with no consequences at all. Well, there isn't no consequences, but back in your ship, there are bad things that happen to you if you're naughty. On foot, it's minor league naughty, so you can dip your toe in.
You can tip your toe in naughtiness. Crash.
I was going to say, you say that, but I am breaking your BGS gains by raiding every settlement in sight. So, oops, you'll have to let me know what's off limits so I can be naughty where I'm allowed to be.
Yeah. So, effectively, the being a pirate is more fun on foot. Is what you're all saying to me, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Taking a power regulator with you, and there are scavengers on the site, and then you power it up when they're in the site and turn the alarms on. That's quite good fun.
Oh, yeah, I love doing that.
Power the base up when there are bad guys in the site, and then turn the alarms and all the guns on. That's great.
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, yeah, I haven't either. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. So you're indoors, and you turn everything back on again. And I did it with another player. With other players in. So we went into the same base. We weren't in a wing. I landed first. I was running around and I saw him land. So I ran and put the power regulator in and all the alarms came on. and you saw him run back to his ship. Oh my goodness, did he? Yeah, brown trousers, run back to his ship and leave quickly. So yeah, you can power a base on when people are in it, and including scavengers, and turn the sensors on and all sorts, and you can have some great fun doing that. You can be evil.
Oh no, that doesn't sound evil. That just sounds like fun.
That's Shan level of evil. That is.
Yeah. I am frightened how much I'm loving being evil now. When just like a couple of weeks ago, I was being a fuel rat. Altruistically helping people out in the black, and now I'm going, right, I'm having that, and I'm going to kill you.
So what do you call a fuel rat that's fallen? Oh dear.
Fuel rat. Oh my, I don't know. Flossie?
An anti-Flossie.
No, Flossie with her pan still does not engage in combat, by the way. I want to make this clear. Flossie, even on foot, does not engage in combat.
Which is why we're saying it's the anti-Flossie. Is on one side you've got the positive Flossie, on the one side you've got the negative Flossie. So
yeah, but yeah,
Rumba has suggested a flat rat.
One of the things it has opened up is the ability to be a pirate or be evil or be a scavenger, which maybe people were reluctant about before.
Yeah,
in their
that's true.
ships, there's a financial consequence in your ships, which potentially, rebuys and whatever else is really expensive. And I know people can make their billions, but there's still a natural reticence to do something bad because it's going to cost you. Or back in the day, before they allowed you to get your pilots back, lose your crew member or whatever. On foot, going to a base, it's action. It doesn't actually matter. And you know what? I'm going to super cruise away, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to do it again because I'm evil. And there aren't heavy consequences to these things, which means you get to just sit back and enjoy the experience without being locked out of stuff.
So effectively, you're telling me it's Psychopath Simulator here, then?
Well, it's the FPS side of it. You get to pew pew. I mean, Psychic gets to run around with an Aphelion and in a war zone, drop out of this thing and say, "Come get some." The old Duke Nukem special.
Yeah. I mean, is there, apart from obviously base raiding, is there anything else that you feel that has? It's hard to put this into words. I mean, obviously the missions are running. I know. Let's just go quick around the group and ask what your favorite mission is. So, Psychic, do you have a favorite?
Oh God. I like the covert ones. The ones which are really tricky. I really like those. Wiping people from a settlement is a lot of fun.
So it's the assassination.
The covert ones, either assassination or covert, like document retrieval, things along those lines. All of that is really fun to do.
So you're basically you're getting in touch with your inner Deus Ex there.
Yeah. Just like proper stealthy, all of that kind of stuff is really, really fun.
Excellent. Crash, do you have a favorite mission?
Oh, I'm going to struggle. I'm enjoying all of them so much, even the very basic ones. It's nice. The thing I love about the game in general is the fact that all of these are now connected experiences, and at any point I can just decide I'm just going to drop out and go fly my spaceship somewhere. That's the one thing I think this is just so understated in the game. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I love the fact that I can do a mission and I can just get up and just go somewhere else and do so. I just love that. So I think I would have to echo the same sentiments out. I like the stealthy things the most, but I'm enjoying all of them, to be honest.
Excellent. Dave?
I've not done missions. I'm going to confess now. I've not done missions. I've just gone and done the stuff without the missions. And my favourite mission, taxi. I love the taxi. Can I say that now? I love the Apex taxi.
Wow.
I've been hunting for suits. I fly to a system. I get in a taxi. I hop round all the planetary bases in the taxi. I call my ship back. I make myself a nice cuppa. So yeah, it's not missions. I mean, I love the POIs and I love the USSs, and I've been enjoying finding the crash stuff and all sorts. But I've not actually done any missions since it landed. I've just been finding stuff on my own and going to bases, and I mean the mining ones. When we had Alpha, we had those square ones that was like a few buildings in a base. Now you can go to those mining bases where they're long and strung out, and you've got like a section over there. And when you go to a war zone, the enemy land on the far side over there, and you've almost got this long stretch between you. So, yeah.
Excellent. Crash?
Good to jump back in, but
somebody hates me because they're phoning now. Go away.
You just mentioned the taxi things there. That's just like an interesting story on the side. I was playing with my brother for the first time in years. He stopped playing a while back because he just found like he'd reached the point where he'd done everything he wanted to. When we got back in the other night, we started playing a few things. He was really enjoying the elements. And I know Frontier got a lot of flack for the taxi things. A lot of long-term players are like, "Why? I've got a ship. Why do I need this? I can do what I want." He loved the taxis as well because he meant he could do exactly that. He could do a little bit of intense combat in somewhere, jump in a taxi, go away, make a cuppa, come back and carry on playing. So I think it was a really enjoyable sort of element for him.
It changes the pace of things as well, because you can go do the intense stuff, get a taxi, take the breather, look at your stuff that you've just raided, and the gear you've just robbed like Crash out of the base, and lifted all the cabinets and everything. So it does change the pace of the game a tiny bit.
Yeah. Psychic, do you want to jump in now?
I did. There better be that people like. I'm going to start when I come back from holiday. So after Lavecon, I'm going to start doing a brand new commander completely on foot without any flying, just as an experiment.
Oh right,
Just
well
as a small experiment, just to see, like maybe once a week, jump onto that character and see how far I can get, see what I can do, see how long it is before I get that yearning to get back into a spaceship again.
Yeah, because that's an interesting. Just to go off on a quick tangent before we go to the Jathar. People were asking, if Odyssey had been a standalone game, with no ships involved, all you've got is the taxi, would you actually be still playing it?
I reckon so. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. Do you think it is worth sort of? Would you say it's worth £30 though? Would you say that the Odyssey content?
100% yes.
Yep. Okay.
I'd be somewhere in the middle. I'd say something like, if I saw that as an individual product, like somewhere in the 1999 sort of region.
Yeah.
So
I've spent more for less.
To just add, to just like spitball around prices of games for just a moment. I was sent a link to a pre-order for Forza 5. Which is a game that I am definitely going to play because I love the Forza series. It's a really good game. However, the pre-order for Forza was £85.
Ooh.
85, and I mean that was a lot of the extras and like the season pass on top of it and everything. However, when you consider that and then consider Odyssey.
Yeah. I mean, I must say, some of the reviews that I've seen is sort of, I have spent, the people have said, I have spent 300 hours in this game already, and I'm there thinking, but we can't recommend it. And I'm there thinking, Mister, you've spent 300 hours in there. How have you managed to spend 300 hours in there? You said you've enjoyed some of it, yet you're not recommending it. It does confuse me a little.
Well, it's the new SRV, isn't it? Is the bandwagon edition SRV?
Commander Jathar, your favourite mission, please.
I like all the salvage and preparation missions because it's basically identifying which bases am I getting my stuff from next.
Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it?
Because I'm moving away from doing the missions at the moment because I'm just looking for stuff, and having a mission is sort of getting in the way of things because I just want to reboot the instance and go back for more. But I do check the boards for those missions and go, right, where am I going next? Is that a manufacturing base? Yeah, okay, I'll go there. Is that a biologicals? Yeah, I'll go there. And that's where I get my shopping list from.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. Personally, I think my favorite mission is not missions. It is the exploration side. I'm discovering, because I'm always going and looking for the biological worlds, I'm always landing on new atmospherics. And despite what people have been saying about the planetary tech, I've found the planetary tech to be absolutely astounding. Yeah, I'm not seeing these massive 14-kilometer deep canyons anymore, but I am still finding canyons which are about 1 or 2 kilometers high. So you can still fly down the equivalent of the Grand Canyon in a really, really nice way. And to be honest, I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, it all looks the same. I haven't found that in my experience. Okay, we'll go to Crash and then Dave. I'll say Crash.
It was something we were talking about earlier on. I'm right. I can't remember.
Okay,
exactly
we'll skip over that and then go to Dave then.
On the planetary tech, okay, I'm going to have a very rare for me grumble. The edges of canyons, we've lost the sharp edges. That's the only thing I can grumble about the surface terrain, is that everything has a kiddie-proof, I'm not going to bump my head on something sharp, sort of nice round corner, as opposed to the real sharp edges where terrain has been cut. That's one grumble, and I'm sure they're going to sort that one out. But, I mean, canyons are still there. Dr. Ross was talking on stream about how they changed some of the planetary gen stuff, that large planets with high gravity were going to be smoother, and they are smoother. So some of the stuff you're used to from back in the day that was bumpy shouldn't have been bumpy, and it has undergone a little bit of a scientific correction. But small potato moons are still significantly canyoned and bumpy and all sorts. So the only grumble I have is actually on the sharp edges on the canyons. That's it. The rest is different but not bad. But the view,
Oh yeah, I mean that is astounding. I mean, I landed on a. This is going to sound typically me, but I landed on a methane planet, and yes, there was green skies. I was actually. It was a yellow sun, and basically we had green skies, and I was there going.
Have you seen how the atmosphere, the color changes as the sun moves as well? They've actually modeled how the atmosphere works. So you approach a planet, and you've got this blue look, and you're at high altitude, and you've got the blue look, and as you drop down, and the way we're talking to Eros Madelung, who's our resident astrophysicist at Hutton, and the way that as it comes through the atmosphere, it actually refracts away some of the blue light. So as you come down at sunset or along the Terminator, you start getting these green and red skies. But whereas if on the sun side, it's blue. So the atmosphere is accurately modelled. So you've got a beautiful blue planet, but as you get the sun coming down, you do get the colour changing to these blues and greens, which is just beautiful. So yeah, I mean, it is scientifically modelled, and the light is refracting away in the right way.
Yeah, well, we know that there are still issues with it, so hopefully that when those issues are resolved, everybody will be able to appreciate some of the things that we've been seeing so far. Yeah.
Boom. Brackets trademark.
So, I mean, overall, how close do you all think that we are for for people to actually begin to appreciate what's there. What I mean is, are we almost there yet with the fixes? What does everybody think? Crash?
Oh, sorry, I think my one bugbear, my one thing I would say Frontier should have done was mark this as a beta, because that's how it feels. That's clearly the direction they should have went in. I think they are going to push hard to hit that console release, and that's where we're going to see it. At that stage, I think everything's going to come together a lot better, looking at what they've done in the past, and I think by that time, I would consider it to be a full release at that point.
Psychic.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface of stuff that they're going to do to optimize and improve. Look at what they've done so far in the relatively short amount of time that Odyssey has been out. Yes, I completely agree with Crash. It should have been a beta. However, shareholders,
yeah.
But it's everything that's happened so far, I'm really excited about, and I find personally really promising.
Dave, do you think they're getting close to being there?
Well, I mean, what's there? I mean, there is an undefined. Am I having fun every single day playing with friends, playing Odyssey? Absolutely. Am I a little despairing about the Saltfest? Absolutely. Do I think there are some justified problems with people on high-end machines that are having frustrations? Yeah, I have sympathy with that. So, do I feel they're going to iron out the things that are stopping people playing, or stopping them feeling like they should play? Yeah, absolutely. They're making massive progress on a regular basis, but I don't think it's as bad as is made out. I think there is a lot of, I mentioned it earlier, bandwagon jumping and pitchforks, which are unjustified. That if you just sat back and enjoyed it, you would enjoy it. So where the final product is, well, just because consoles are coming out doesn't mean, it's going to be polished and finished by that point. It's an evolving product. It's an evolving experience. I mean, listen to Dav and talking about the BGS and the refinement they put into that. That's not something that's ever going to be finished. That's an ongoing refinement. And as they add new stuff, it's going to carry on being refined. So there's no end point to it. Do I think it's going to get better quickly? Absolutely. I think the next update is going to see a whole raft of changes that are going to mollify people who aren't going to bother saying, it's awesome now. They're just going to not say anything. So they're going to say, I hate it, and then nothing. So yeah, there's going to be refinement. I have faith in the guys. I've spoken to them. We've all spoken to them over the years at Lavecon. We know what the passion is they have. We know they take it personally. We know they're going to address some of the stuff. There is going to be an element of challenging things they can't fix. I mean, the VR conversation as an example. I understand why that's tricky. I mean, you turn your head left, you move your console, your cursor right. Are you going to spin round? Are your head going to spin round like an owl? So I can understand some of the challenges that they've said, actually, we're not going to do this at the moment. So end game is not going to be, hey, we've got VR on foot. But am I going to spend my free time in the company of good friends, having a laugh, in a beautiful environment? Absolutely, yes. And it is only going to get better.
Right. Jathar, you get the last one. Do you feel that we're almost there yet?
I think we're almost at good enough for the majority. What I do think we're going to see is just a long process of tweaks and improvements here and there over years. Just to get it to, because they cultivated such high expectations for this. I mean, we've been calling this the new era for years, and it's been built up and built up and built up, and everybody's just gone, right, here's our expectations, and Frontier have gone, well, here's what we have, and we need to go a bit further, just increments, and that's how they work best. It's how they've been working for since they launched the base game, and I think by the time we get the console release, we'll be at a point where it's good, and everyone can enjoy it, and nobody's going to be having major issues. And then from there, they're just going to keep improving it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree. Dave, you had something to say on increments?
Oh, sorry, you caught me out there. I was being really polite and doing the ... thing and whatever. I thought, oh, it'll take a minute or two. I thought you were on the increments thing. I mean, some of you here, I mean, have been around since the alpha days. I remember logging in first time in my spaceship in an asteroid field with a Sidewinder, right, and soloing anacondas and a Sidewinder. And then I remember the first time we were allowed to jump between systems when we went from this one system to the sausage, to the small bubble, to the big bubble. And there's this incremental improvement, the addition of frameshift drive. The first time I looked at another ship in Super Cruise with the music playing in the background, it was awesome. And the evolution of this, it is an evolving game. And they're continually evolving it, and they've hit a bump, a big speed bump, but it is evolving. They've got a commitment to evolving. It is going to evolve further, and they are going to get there. Have no doubt they are going to get there.
Right, Crash, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think it's something we should all be used to. I mean, it's the way that they've chosen to develop this product. It's an iterative product. It's constantly evolving. It's like a perpetual beta. It should be something that a lot of people are used to, that style of development now. And I mean, the alternative is you develop everything and release it at the end, and hopefully before the heat death of the universe, like other games.
Yeah, well, let's hope it keeps on going, because that's one of the things that there's always a little bit of a how shall I put it, a little bit of fear in the background, or a little bit of paranoia that it's not doing that well. They're going to close the everything down, and then where we're going to be, because I've been in MMOs where they've been sunset, and it's not a pleasant thing, especially when you lose your game.
Be along for the ride. Enjoy the experience, for goodness sake, everybody. Be part of it and join in and have fun, or sit there and moan your arse off all the time and miss out on the fun. I mean, those are the choices. So join in. If something goes wonky, it's a bit of fun. Do something else. Just join in, for goodness sake, is all I can say to people. Find the things that work well. Do them. Have fun with your friends.
Okay, well, we're going to wind this up for the moment. Thanks for everybody for their excellent points or pointers at how to actually have fun within Odyssey. If you've been unaware of some of the missions and gameplay opportunities that are out there. Yes, I'm just going to caveat by that. Yes, we know that there are problems which are still ongoing, and we know that there are still issues that are stopping people playing, but we would just like to point out that once we get past those issues, there is gameplay and there is fun still to be had. So I think we'll move on to what's been happening in the community this week. Now, one of the mainstays of the community, the Sagittarius Eye, have released a new magazine, number, I think it's 37. We can find that at www.sagittariuseye.com. And if you want the audio equivalent, there's the podcast.sagittariuseye.com. This month's topics include the ongoing stuff with the... I have a mental block with this bloomin' megaship name. The Hephaestus. I always sound as if I'm like from the Fast Show on Channel 5, always going on about the Hephaestus. They are also covering the Apollo 15 expedition, the mysterious Soontil relics, the various colours of atmospheres, dummies' guides to grenades, and Exine companions. So, es pers us. Is that right, Dave?
It's the Hesperus. It's the wreck of the Hesperus from the poem by Longfellow.
Yeah, I know. The problem is I've got now that I've got this thing in my brain that I have trouble seeing the damn ship name. Every time
Hesperus. It's like Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic poem, by the way. Go read it. Longfellow poem.
Yeah, and we'll also point out that the aforementioned SPVFA do a lot of fantastic photography work for Sagittarius Eye. So if you want to see the end results of some of the things they do, that's the place to look. Now, this one I found quite interesting. Just Dave _GG has shown how to get a full working VR. To get full VR working on foot by just using some tweaking and the vanity camera. Apparently, this is not the best option for combat, but it does work well with exploration. Now, someone mentioned something about this earlier on. Was that Dave or Crash?
'Twas I, sir. Yes. I found the video as well, and I had a quick play around, managed to get it to work. And yeah, it's quite enjoyable. I mean, I think the problem is, as mentioned, you can't do everything in it. So interacting with panels and stuff, you can't do because you're kind of in camera mode. You're not really interacting the way you normally would. But yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, you get the full depth of things, the real sense of scale whilst you're walking around on foot. Obviously, the sliding around translation, sort of the locomotion problem is there. I did feel kind of queasy after a few minutes of doing it, but I am very prone to motion sickness. I've said this for a while. I love VR, but unfortunately, I just can't do a lot of FPS experiences because of that. But yeah, it's great. It really does kind of lock in that sense of scale. The experience is great fun. And I hope at some point they manage to add that support, but I understand and appreciate that, the development concerns behind it and why they can't just it's not something you can just turn on. A lot of the comments on the video, I think people were just kind of like, oh, you can do it through a hack and an exploit, so why not put it in as an option, like an experimental feature? And I know for a fact that it's not that simple. You've got all of the interactivity, the hand controls, for example, people would expect. All of the various issues that come around going from a different perspective. It's not as straightforward as just hacking two buttons together and hoping that it works.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I always take for this is that No Man's Sky, which everybody's using as a poster child at how updates should be done at the moment. No Man's Sky took 3 years to put VR in, and it was a long time coming. I'm not disparaging it. I find the No Man's Sky equivalent VR on-foot experience absolutely amazing, and just wish that people would taper their expectations that if you want that kind of experience, it's gonna take quite a bit of time. Vintio.
I've had the fortune or misfortune to be developing some of the voice pack stuff for No Man's Sky as well, and firsthand some of the nightmares, menus. I mean, you look at your wrist, you've not got access to quick menus. The interface is fundamentally different when you're in VR as it is when you're on a screen. The pop-up menus, the quick menus, all sorts. And there is there's sort of a bit of a disconnect between those two environments, which makes it really hard. I mean, they've got the movement okay. It doesn't make me sick when I'm in NMS, but the pop-up menus, I mean, lovely for immersion when you're in VR and you look at your left wrist and you touch your left wrist to bring up the quick menus. But for players that are used to click menu, click left, click up, whatever, that doesn't work anymore. So there's a whole context in VR in terms of the controls that is really tricky to manage. So I've got a bit of sympathy for Frontier on the. I mean, aside from the I mentioned it earlier, the spinny head owl. When you look left, is your dot where you're targeting looking left, or is that still ahead? And if it's still ahead and you're looking left and you're shooting ahead, I mean, there's a whole thing that blows my mind about how are you going to cope with this one. And many games get over it. We do the teleport thing. You look at the Star Wars franchise. With the was it the Frontier? What's the one that did the Oculus 2? Somebody must know. The
was that Galaxy's Edge?
Galaxy's Edge, when you can teleport or run as well. And the teleport thing is a great sort of workaround. But so many games have still got to teleport in because they know that the real motion thing isn't quite right. So we're going to allow you to teleport places.
Okay,
and that would be really bad in Elite if you had a teleport thing. So I understand their challenge, and I've got a lot of sympathy as to why they treat it as quite a hard thing to do. Adding the VR to the spaceships was relatively easy because you had the head look side of things, and you had a fixed position where your ass was sat in that chair. On the FPS thing, there are real challenges, and I sympathise with them a lot as to why it's really, really difficult to get right.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, there is a difference. When I'm playing No Man's Sky, there is a real difference between playing it in VR and playing it flat screen because of the interactions that you have to do. Crash, one final point.
Yeah, I mean, just what Dave was saying there about the interaction, the control elements. I found that when I was doing it with the hacky exploity way of doing it, that disconnect between your visual vector where your head's looking versus where your body's aiming when you're using the mouse control, it's very difficult to get right, and it did feel clunky and not perfect. And I can absolutely respect what Frontier was saying, like until we can do this as a very good, positive experience, we don't want to do it. So we're not going to invest the time in it until we've got everything else right, and then maybe they come back to it later, hopefully.
Well, yeah, hopefully. Right, in other community news, we have to send a salute to the Anti-Xeno Initiative. They are now celebrating 10,000 members on their Discord. To celebrate this, they are organising the 4th Great Hunt. I have to be very careful there. This is
Sorry,
organised.
I shouldn't laugh.
Yes, this has to be organised. This is actually organised for today, which is tonight, was the 22nd of June. So for those that wish to join in, quickly jump over to the Anti-Xeno Initiative and try and join in as they try and get as many bugs as possible. So we'll just quickly go into any other business. The first thing that I do have to say is that next week we will have no Lave Radio episode. Now, this is due to the fact that we're preparing for the virtual Lavecon, which we had Karen on at the beginning of the show. This special Lavecon normally happens on the Sunday, so that will be the 4th of July, and then hopefully normal service should be resumed on the 13th of July, because normally it takes that much effort that it takes us that long to recover. Okay, let's see. Dave, potentially no Hutton Radio?
For the same reasons, yes. Obviously, with Karen saying, we might have some Hutton Radio live on the weekend of Lave. We are talking about the same thing as to whether we save... keep our powder dry and save ourselves for the weekend for Lave Live, not live, virtual. So yeah, we are looking next week at Thursday, potentially doing exactly the same thing and not having a Hutton Live show and postponing it till the weekend of Lave.
Excellent. Psychic, you got a thing.
I've got a thing. We did the fundraising for Young Lives versus Cancer, and one of the hidden goal type things was a Phasmophobia stream, and that's happening this weekend. If anybody wanted to see it, it's going to be both. I'm getting Crispy Tater into Phasmophobia, and he is terrified, and I cannot wait.
Excellent.
But it will be on both of our channels if anybody is interested.
Excellent. Crash, do you want to plug your channel while you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. I am back and streaming on Twitch again, twitch.tv/crashlandings. So yeah, come along, have fun, ignore the haters, play the game, enjoy it.
And Jathar, do you have any social media or Twitch channels that you do?
No, I don't do anything. I sit here, I play, I absorb all of your content. I'm just a sponge. basically.
Okay, so basically it's Commander Sponge from now on.
Okay, that's my new commander name. Thank you.
Actually, no, that is now your new Lave Radio job. Actually, you'll be the bar sponge. How's that?
Sounds disgusting, but I'll roll with it. You know, I'm open to new experiences.
Oh yes, and finally, Dave, you have one final thing.
But I completely forgot. Commander Dog's Breath, who went down to the Antarctic at the start of the year, and then the boat caught fire on the way home, and there were shenanigans, and it was all a bit scary. He took some fuel rats and some Canon Interstellar goodies down to the Antarctic with him at the start of the year. And they went down there. They got them signed by the team down in the Antarctic with the Australian Antarctic Expedition, and they've now come back. The boat caught fire on the ship caught fire on the way back, and it was a bit leery for a while, and they had to be escorted back to Western Australia and then flown back to Tasmania. But he is coming to join us on Hutton Orbital Live with an interview as to what on earth went on, whether the Canon Interstellar and Fuel Rat stuff caught fire, which it didn't, and it's not scorched, and it's now reached back to the UK, ready for fundraising next year. So yeah, thanks to the Fuel Rats and thanks to Canon for sending stuff down to the Antarctic, and thanks to Commander Dog's Breath for keeping us updated about what's going on. He's coming live on the show in the next couple of weeks to tell us all about what happened when Hutton went to the Antarctic, take 2.
Excellent. Right. Well, in that case, it just leaves me to round out the show. So we'll do our usual shout-outs. So obviously, as Dave has just said, our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio. It broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30 British Summer Time. You can tune in at twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC, all one word. We're also giving shout-outs to the following podcasts which have appeared over the last year or so. So hi to Loose Screws, Elite Week, Flight Assist. Spanish speakers have the Elite Cast, there's the Canon Podcast, the Fatherhood Podcast, Squeaking Fuel, System Chat, the Guard Frequency, and Allograb FM. For those who want a literary discussion about sci-fi and fantasy books, please subscribe to the Data Slate podcast, as created by our station commander Alan Stroud. Following on for this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. And thanks to everyone who has chipped in the Twitch chat. And Chris Mark IV, have you had any visitors?
I have not had any visitors. I did go to Lave and I did go to Lave Broadcasting House, but no visitors.
Oh, and Psychic, did anyone buzz you while you were flying about Lave?
I saw Crash once. And then I was just mostly just killing people. So it was a good time. It was had by all. And by all, I mean me.
So nice to see that you're throwing about a bit of assertiveness there. So we'll also say special thanks to Commander Tokoso, who created the music for the introduction of the show. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can email info@laveradio.com. Hit us up at facebook.com/laveradio, tweet us at laveradio, or you can join the Discord server by going to discord.io/laveradio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders come out and hang out and chat, which you can find at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Word of warning, it is shared with the truckers, so you might have to put up with some truckers, really. Get in touch.
There is a separate room for naughty truckers.
Oh, well, at least that's something. Hang on, I thought that was Cubicle 3.
Oh, no, that's quarantine now. That's a bad place. We don't go there.
Do get in touch if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com live. So thanks to everybody for turning up for this one. So thanks to Jathar, thanks to Crash, thanks to obviously Psychic, thanks to Commander Vintian, and thanks of course to the Chris Mark IV for flying around, and Commander Ventura for being today's tech specialist. So until next time, commanders, fly safe, and if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
certainty. Need a safe word.
Space can be loaded.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
According to scientists, Uranus is full of methane gas.
I think you're right, though, Colin.
What have you done with Shan, and when can we have him back?
Galnet News Digest, 22nd of June 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, corporatists consigned to history.
AXI celebrates, but Tharg just won't give up.
Sirius makes its mind up. Eventually.
Naked protest as Lavecon flight suits withdrawn.
The corporatist movement has been dealt a mortal blow by the defeat of the Jupiter Division, according to journalist Conrad Sterling. The Jupiter Division, a breakaway division of ship manufacturer Core Dynamics, was set up by its founder and the then Core Dynamics CEO, Jupiter Rochester, at least partly to bring about political change within the Federation. Rochester planned to set up a corporate government to replace the present democratic government, with the Jupiter Division as the leading corporate entity, and presumably with himself as the new supreme leader. The Jupiter Division has fought for its survival twice, once against the Federation in HIP 54530 in February, and earlier this month against its parent company, Core Dynamics, in the Shoutouts system. Jupiter Rochester was captured and imprisoned without trial following the war in February, but the division fought on without him following Core Dynamics' intervention. With the writing on the wall for the Jupiter Division, many of its corporate sponsors withdrew before the last shot was fired on the 9th of June. With Jupiter Rochester in prison and the Jupiter Division dismantled, it seems unlikely that a replacement leadership for the nascent corporatist movement will arise before the few remaining supporters lose hope. In any case, argues Sterling, big business already holds most of the political cards in the Federation.
The Anti-Xeno Initiative is celebrating recruiting 10,000 members with a Thargoid heart sale and a 4-day battle against the Thargoids. The heart sale is at the Astra's fleet carrier in Kokogina, and although the hearts aren't cheap, if you've ever wanted a bit of genuine Thargoid biology to hang on the wall, but didn't really have the nerve to take on a Thargoid in combat, this is an excellent opportunity to become a proud owner of one of these unusual items. The Fourth Great Hunt is a team-based event where the teams score points for killing Thargoid interceptors and for clearing waves. Only members with the Apollo's Wrath rank are eligible to enter. The event runs for 96 hours from Thursday, and vast numbers of Thargoids are expected to be slain. Glory, as they say, to mankind! But Despite all the celebrations, the Axios failed to shake the Thargoids from 4 systems where the Thargoids maintain a marginal presence, and 4 attacked stations continue to burn in those 4 systems. Ark's Faith in HR 1183, California Freeport in HIP 18390, Selene Orbital in Atlas, and Donar's Oak in Delphi, which Galnet still insists on calling by its old name, Pleiades Sector IR-W D1-55, trips off the tongue. All remain on fire, and all 4 systems continue to have a modest Thargoid presence despite all the best efforts of commanders fighting for the Pilots Federation to dislodge them. In stark contrast to this failure to make progress, the repairs to all stations at which the fires have been put out are expected to be complete by the end of this week.
The Sirius Corporation has been demonstrating that it needs more decisive leadership, following a series of gaffes this week. It plans to make its highly efficient detailed surface scanner available to everyone using the network of human technology brokers, but it's had a lot of trouble deciding on what funding levels it needed and what rewards should be offered. When it started on Thursday, Sirius declared that the initiative needed 16 million tonnes of CMM composites, muon imagers, and synthetic reagents in any combination. This was quickly revised upwards to 32 million, before on Friday afternoon it was reduced to 22 million. And until Monday lunchtime, the reward tiers were unusual, with those participants attaining the top 50% being offered a much smaller reward than those who'd only managed to get into the top 75%. But the big prize for those who make the top 75% cut is the free detailed surface scanner, which is better than the most heavily engineered DSS available elsewhere. The jockeying for position among contributors has guaranteed a successful campaign for Sirius, despite its chaotic management of the event. After the relatively lacklustre support for a number of recent initiatives, this campaign by the Sirius Corporation has finally caught the imagination of the commanders of the Pilots Federation.
Members of the Lave radio team have vowed that they will fly naked until Lavecon flight suits are reinstated. The suits, which feature a flame-racked phoenix, are granted to those who visit the famed Lavecon convention, something that's been harder to do in recent years, as the event is currently open only to telepresence rather than physical attendance. It is unclear why the flight suits were withdrawn without notice. The Pilots Federation has not yet commented. The colourful flight suits went missing at the same time as the Pioneer flight suits, which were awarded to the first batch of Odyssey Walking About permit holders. Few Odyssey permit holders use their flight suits now that they have access to the Artemis, Maverick and Dominator suits, but apparently it's the principle that matters. The Pilots Federation is said to be at a high state of alert in the anticipation that Commander Edelweiss may turn up on Founders World in a state that nature now fervently denies it ever intended.
And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News, we visualise the hideous flapping sound as the naked Commander Edelweiss runs down the corridor towards Commander Braven's office. So you don't have to.
Store alert! In the
Is your life like this? It could be like this. Like this. Warning, depressurization alert. Warning, depressurization alert. Warning, depressurization alert. Warning, depressurization alert. Warning, depressurization alert.
Astrogator Tours. Put some excitement back in your life. Book an adventure in the Lave Business Directory. Now.
Hey guys.